Alright everybody, it's our Klaus here, and since this is a part 2, I'm going to jump right into things here. If you need to be brought up to speed, be sure to go and check out part 1 or any of my other videos so that you can see how I present the information and why I feel it has so much validity and need for consideration. So with all of that, we were finally getting into this in the last one, so it's really the whole reason I wanted to do the video anyway, but needed all of that prefacing. I want you to see that Lana Del Rey premiered her song Salvatore by fan request on the same night that I put out my Lana Del Rey videos that were specifically focusing on that song. Alright, this was all a preface here, the part 1. And High by the Beach was the song that she did play after her a cappella debut of Salvatore. But as you can see, part 2 here in the title, and part 3 with the reference to another lyric, Dying by the Hand, as well as the Law and Order bit that I started the last video with, reiterating the importance of concepts that I'm showing you before they become public spectacles. Now I want you to see why this is so important, because I was talking about in this video right here, which is criminally underviewed, discussing the Pilgrim Society, Liberty Valance, and ice cream, that I begin it with this surreal phrase that had been stuck in my head for a while, and view from the top has this value of 195, and so July 13th, the day that Del Rey premiered Salvatore, was the 195th day of the year. And so with that, when you are looking through the simple value here, not only do you see reference to 777 written out, but you see Donald Trump blackened, as well as first degree murder, July 13th, the day that she debuts that song. You also see the Washington State reference in my breakdown of Washington to show you how it gives you not only the Master Masonic 33 but also the Devil card. A very, very important name and a very important figure, absolutely. Go and watch any of a number of my videos to see much more on him. But now notice with that 171 days remaining, just like I told you with the Pez theory, it would come to be something that kind of united throughout all of this. Alright, and so there's the Pez theory for you, bringing that up again, these ideas of the number 7, hiding the truth, Order of the Rose, the Great Architect. Alright, and again it coming up all the way in Elizabeth W. Grant as well, and I hate lip syncing, pieces we were talking about in part 1 of this video. So notice here the show in Montreal, Switzerland at the Montreux Jazz Festival. And just to make sure, right, you can see here it was the 13th, and they love to change these dates as I've shown. But we have all of this stuff here talking about this. Remember in the last video discussing the fact that she's 31, the Book of the Law number, it's an inverted 13 death card, just like the 13th, when she's debuting this song about killing somebody in the summer rain. Now, just to make sure here, yeah, let's take a look at some stuff. Because so many outlets wrote about this song being performed a cappella, and mind you, I love the studio version of the song. It's very moving. And I want you to see though from this Virgin Mobile thing, it's just so weird, isn't it though? This girl with this like split tongue right here. I mean, because we know that they absolutely modify those images, and notice forked tongue is something that came up with I Hate Lip Sync, alright, which we were talking about in the last video. Again, the references to Illuminati, Freemason, as well as Great Sphinx, alright, the great riddle here that we are putting together. But now notice in this article though, and again talking about this jazz festival, and this is from Virgin Radio, this is a big publication, but they reference Lana Del Rey as a male. It's a long time since Lana Del Rey made the headlines after his failed performance at Saturday Night Live, right? And it goes on and on throughout this, right? The singer had chained the wrong notes up to doubt the more sophisticated ears of his actual vocal ability. All right, and so here's an image from this, and if you watch this, it's very clear that she has a backing track. She is also engaging in some lip sync as well. All right, but look at this line here. Sweet Revenge for Lana Del Rey has just recently celebrated its 31st anniversary and will continue throughout the summer to hang his voice around the globe. Now, I just really wanted to point that, and those are all from that Virgin Mobile, Virgin Radio, so referencing her as a male the whole time, which I definitely think is interesting. I was showing you with Del Rey, dualisms, all of these important things there. But again, just this blanket coverage for this very just kind of crummy, impromptu rendition of this song. The acapella was just the fact that she doesn't have a live band. It's all electronic, and she really wouldn't be able to pull that song off in its splendor without quite a bit more preparation. Okay, so now again, all of these different articles talking about this here. But I want to pull up this is from Inquisitor talking about, Rolling Stone says that Lana Del Rey has also debuted her song Salvatore, a cappella, and there you again see the Montreal reference. Now, what I want you to see here before we get too far into things is this from last year, September 15th, 2015, this article from Rolling Stone by a John Blistein. Now, I want to talk about him later on, but I want to cite that he's also the one who wrote the article, again for Rolling Stone, about her sultry Salvatore live debut. Alright, so again, that can be seen as a 1-1-3, which I'm going to talk about here in just a moment. Okay, so now let's pop back and really reiterate some things, okay, because this show is in Switzerland when she debuted it on the 13th there, as I've been saying, and I was discussing a while ago how it was funny to me that Beyonce was going to be playing 44 days or 11 weeks and 4 days in Switzerland after the opening of the Gothard Base Tunnel on June 1st. 2016, right? So then it was very interesting to me to see that Del Rey playing this show there 43 days after that opening, but 11 weeks and 3 days, alright? So that 113 though, right, the same simple value for Salvatore as well as Miles Davis, right, the epitome of jazz, right? And she debuts this song at the Jazz Festival. Alright, we showed you in the last video the reference to the line from Salvatore of jazz and blues, okay? All of these things. Alright, and just as I pointed out, that 113 sultry Salvatore live absolutely reduces to 113. And so again, 11 times 3, 33, the master thelemic number. Notice that Montreal has the same Jewish value as Beyonce X, and so you do see the 3 6s, US Babylon, Nightmare on Elm Street, a reference to this August. You do have a reference to C Day of Reckoning, which you can absolutely check out just right down below here. And again, you'll see reference to Seal My Forehead, reoccurring theme, which is absolutely the one that I've been tapped into very strongly here. Remember, JFK was assassinated on 411 Elm Street, okay, and Beyonce's Lemonade coming out on the 114th day of this year. All the other 114s we've discussed along the way. Alright, now look here for Montreal, it has the same English and simple values as The Dog Has Fleas, Lana Del Rey, Amen, Purple Rain, Washington, Rosicrucian, White Horse, and so much more. Remember, The dog has fleas is from the Whacking Day episode with the 9/11 clock, the cat, the black and white, the dualisms, Marge writing the dog has fleas. Remember, with the 11 in the background here, or the 11-3, if you reduce the 12, 1 and 2 is 3. It's 11-3, just like we were talking about. And her writing this phrase on the board that the dog has fleas. Now remember, I showed you that's an anagram for gashed self oath, which is a reference to the 44th chapter of the Book of Lies, right? The Phoenix Ritual, okay? And this is also President Obama's number presidency, right? The 44th president. So very interesting in that same scene. That is absolutely what Bart is writing on the board after that is on, okay? So now, check this out. Since Del Rey is what appears, I know that looks a little confusing because the L in front of it, but Del Rey is how they have this over for her live performances here. I do want to tap into that a bit. So take a look at these huge reductions here. You can see, of course, the 49 that we get from just the DNR reduces to 13 and 4, okay, respective death and emperor cards, which we've talked about. Now, both of the words are 3 letters, alright, so there's your 33 again. Know that you can reduce down those master numbers by just multiplying them. 3 and 3 is 9 when we do the multiplication there. So again, those total reductions leave us with this 49, okay? So now hold on to that because it is immensely important, and there are a number of tarot cards talking about the true rose of secrecy having 49 petals to it. But now keep going here. You see reference to nuclear accident, as well as sigil of Lucifer, internal order, behind closed doors, the blood and the grail. Remember everything back to the chariot card in the first videos here. You also see reference to dictatorship and train tracks. Now I want to pull up train tracks really quick because in connection with everything else here, notice here for season 5 of The Simpsons, the overall 91st episode here, in the way it's listed here, the 91st episode, it's the 10th in the season, dropping the silence on the end here, you do have that 9/11, and so it's very interesting because the title here, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Legalized Gambling, is a direct hail to Stanley Kubrick's, right, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Now in this episode, it absolutely starts with this nuclear accident here, right, but giving the thumbs up, remember the phallus, and then dying there. But I want you to see the next thing that comes up is this family watching the television and this train coming towards them, right, the train tracks. And what number is that? Huh? Because it looks like a 49 to me. Alright, and then the very next thing we see is this Hollywood, and remember all of the Hollywood Babylon connections that we've talked about. And it's also in this same episode where Mr. Burns is tripping out and paranoid and sees the germs on Smithers' face that say, Freemasons run the country. And in this same episode, the rich Texan also gives Homer his lucky hat that he says he was wearing on the day that Kennedy was shot. And so it's a massive set of things for you to consider right there. So now Del Rey, again, the main piece that we're looking at. You see her English and simple values? The same as Beyonce. The same as Lemonade. The same as Lolita, which was the song that they showed her coming back in, wearing the peace sign. Again, go watch those videos that I did, talking about why all of that was so important. And again, this premonitious video right here with me opening it with the Dr. Strangelove bit, where he's riding the bomb, and that's where I got the view from the top in my head. But see here, false flag, WWW, that 555, right? The law, one eye. So for acapella here, just notice that A, C, that's 1, 3, right? The death card. It does have a Jewish value of 171. That's 15, the devil card, the agenda, and death dance. Very interesting because DD is 4-4. Both of those letters are 5 letters. You have the 44, the 55. You add them together, you get the 99. Right? And do remember that 171, right, was the number of days left on the day that she performed that song. And has that same simple value as Pez theory, I hate lip syncing, all of that, okay? So just reminding you there. All of it comes back. And so you notice as well for a cappella, the English and simples give you satanic, silence, killer, evidence, bohemian, and black death. Now typing it all in as one bit here, Salvatore a cappella, you see Swan Song. And again, this is another track off of that album. All right, I'm not going to talk about it in this one, but again, SS, not only the Nazi reference, but the 1-1 from those reductions, and both words are 4 letters. The 11, 44, giving you 55. You also see Art of War, Destruction of the Human Race. The number 18 is important. Criminal activities, crazy killers, he whom is death, psychopathic nature. Now look at the English and simple values, 10, 80, and 180. Both of them modifications of 18 with the silence. Okay, but you see the Pilgrim Society, Creative Control, Atlantis, Cable News. I'm still haven't had that one put out for you, but do remember Creative Control. This is the end of the Maisha So Long video. The CC, everything we've already talked about with that. Remember ACN 1, 3, 5, the reductions from those. And they're always mirroring it, right? 1, 3, 5 plus 5, 3, 1 is 6, 6, 6, you guys. And so that is so important. I promise I will try to get that video together for you because they talk about how the end will come about, and it's not going to be what we think it is, that it's going to be some disgruntled kid who's actually just able to hack into the grid and is able to release a number of dams and flood cities and cause all sorts of catastrophes moving with that. Alright, so there is a lot of really interesting stuff. I will get to that video as soon as I can, alright, but do notice here, right, these references, the love of money. Even if you just pop back to this 9/11 episode we were talking here, the Springfield with the S, it's the one where they legalize gambling, alright? I mean, again and again, all of these things coming back, and it's just so powerful. You see the Master Builder, Eyes of the World, that 444, which you have to go watch other videos of mine to get the true scope of. I'm not going to touch it here. Now, since I stated that right after her crummy little rendition here of Salvatore, she played High by the Beach. Do remember that when I was showing you everything for High by the Beach, we had the references to the 810, the 330, the 666, the 111, how you see that with Formation, Hotline Badu, Iconoclast, right? All of these main concepts that we've been talking about. Remember, Formation, it's a 123 BPM song. If you invert 1, 2, 3 is 3, 2, 1 and add it, it's 4, 4, 4. And again, that importance directly tying in because that song is 3 minutes, 26 seconds long, just like the day that Kennedy was assassinated. All of these things we've talked about at length. Now notice here, for Salvatore, High by the Beach, you see Expose the NWO, Connected to a Higher Power, Cosmic Key 135. That's a number that I've made cheat sheets for you on and all sorts of things. You see the Lords of Will and Sacrifice. That's 2 songs there. Alright? Representing those concepts. I want you to see the English and simple values. Terrorist Strike, Clepothic Tree of Death, Law and Order Los Angeles, Love Through Sacrifice, and the Knowledge of Gematria. Now, one other thing that I want to talk about in here is her song 24. And remember that I had brought this song up in this the first set of Lana Del Rey videos because it is one of 3 songs on her Honeymoon album that are, I'm sorry if I take me just a second to find this for you here. It is one of 3 songs that are 4 minutes and 55 seconds long. And again, if you go back and you watch those videos, you see how I directly tie that to a number of important things. But so I want to talk about the number 24 and some things here with this song. So as you can see, here's the length on this side, all of the coding I found from the hiding, right, of those 3 songs, the utilization of 24 as numbers instead of words. Okay, so the direct connections to massive concepts. But so take a look here. 24 can be the dummy 2 4s, right? 2 4s, 24. So 44, but there's a lot more here. So she says it 6 times in the song. 6 times 24 is 144. That is the number episode of Lisa the Iconoclast, centerpiece for Pez theory. If you invert that number, it's not only the length of the song Salvatore, but it is also the coding for Tom Donovan, right? The man who actually shoots Liberty Valance, right? Kill and not be seen. I am the great one. Grand architect. So mote it be. All of these master concepts. When you type 24 out, its English and simple values are the same as Aldous Huxley. Remember, the author of Brave New World, Maxwell Scott, who's the man who says, remember, this is the West, sir. When the legend becomes fact, print the legend. It's the same as Plan 9 Records in Mundo Nuva. Now remember, Plan 9 Records is absolutely who put this out. Of course, it's a 7-inch vinyl, talking about the links, right, of all these songs, the 137, the instant coffee reference that is. On and on and on. And remember that phrase at the end here is absolutely a new world in, I believe, Portuguese. And do remember that a new world, let me type it in like this because I know it's in just a couple of places for you here, has that same 115 value as Law and Order, Freemasons, blood work, all of these things. Remember in the first video I was discussing with you Trump's speech clocked in at 1 hour and 15 minutes, right, where he's droning on and on about being law and order, all right? Remember the no symbol, all of the massively important things there, all right? So now in this song, she says this line, if you lie down with dogs, then you'll get fleas. Okay, so now remember, we were just looking at from one of these older Simpsons, this Whacking Day episode, the dog has fleas, and all the 9/11 stuff, the 44 stuff, the anagrams, all of it, right? And remember, even for Whacking Day, if we look at when it was released, here is one of the examples of the 444. When you break it down, all right? And I want you to see, this is the writer for this episode, but I want you to really look at the dog here, all right? Because it's saying when you lie down with dogs, then you'll get fleas. And remember, the dog coming up in all sorts of coding. And so take a look at that over there. But I want you to see, for if you lie down with dogs, you have the New World Order. Hermaphrodites. How interesting in that Salvatore Virgin Radio article where they kept referencing her as, right, male. You see New World Order and the false prophet. Alright, and do remember that we were just talking about the false prophet, right, with the I hate lip sync stuff. And so, really, really stunning, right? And so take a look here. If you go and watch the music video, This Town by Elvis Costello, in the beginning it does seem to be a direct reference to Trump, selling your soul for everything. Trump Tower even comes up. But notice for if you lie down with dogs, the English and simple values are the same as Parkland Memorial Hospital. Now, do remember that this is where President John F. Kennedy was pronounced dead. And so the importance of that immensely significant. You see each word is 8 letters. You get that 888 put in there. But check it out. The secret of Freemasonry. Another false flag operation. U.S. President-elect Barack Obama. New Declaration of Independence. Bitter pill to swallow. 101 plus 1. Remember that 102 or October 2nd. Huge date we've been talking about. You see breakdown of civilization. All of these are connected to if you lie down with dogs. Now the second part of that, then you'll get fleas. You see a direct warning. Extinction of all life on Earth. You see October, comet, Elenin, earthquake, and the conqueror of nations. Now down below for it, again, this reference to Don't Rain on My Parade, a very important song. And you see the number of the beast as well as the New World Order. One more time. You see United States America. You see 266 as well as Drugged and Disoriented and Illuminati Project. Remember for 266, all of the incredible important places it comes up. The simple value for Representative Pete Sessions, Republican Texas, right, who brought up House Resolution 642, the Magic Bill. You see for him the Law of Thelema, Water Bearer, Blood Shower, all of these things. 266 also being the same as Thoth, Alchemists, Fear of Death, and very importantly, Headshot. Alright, again, you see it coming up in reference to this Amazonian boa constrictor. A lot of research I've done for you here, but that 36th triangle and the Smithsonian Museum coming up are no mistake, because remember that Ben Franklin, the article I showed you where he lived at 36 Craven Street, from the Smithsonian article had discussed all of the bones underneath his house and that it was 15 bodies. Remember that 36 triangular number is 666, and 36 is Truman's apartment number in The Truman Show. Alright, and so again, he was likened to the devil, resurrection of the dead, all of these massive, massive pieces, okay? The 7 thunders, whole 9. Now, I want you to see here for Lana Del Rey Honeymoon, right? Again, putting it just all together here for you in one last bit, code 137 for instant coffee there. Let me scroll back down for you here. It's on this side. Just to pull it up for you here. It's also the same as George Nichols, the man who exhumed Zachary Taylor. Again, I've talked about it at length. But remember the instant coffee connections, the path of death, mind control, and again, the IC from instant coffee, that 9-3. Everything from what we talked about with this Wilkins instant coffee as well, it being a DC agency asking Henson to do all of that, on and on and on. Alright, I want you to see that 85 being referenced there is absolutely what we get not only for Mswati, remember one of the dictators Erykah Badu has played shows for. It's also the same as Plan 9, the record label that put out Bullet. You see the Devil, Violence, Awakening, CBS News, as well as Dead Ringer, Blackout, Curses, and The Earth. Alright, again, all things to be mindful of. Now, check out for Lana Del Rey Honeymoon here. Down below, and again, check out the 7 of Cups. Absolutely, it's an important card. But see here that it is the same, and let's get all caught up here, as a story by, and remember as something, same as a story by Erykah Badu, something that appears in almost all of her videos. You also see Universal Motown, Erykah Badu, Boarding Pass, World Heart Federation, and John Swartzwelder, the writer for the Whacking Day episode. So check all that out. The Bavarian Illuminati, 322, that Skull and Bones number. You see Invisible Illuminati, Second War of Independence, the Holy Archangel of Death, and god of the age of Aquarius. You do also see this reference to North Korea attack US, something that they absolutely always want to keep in the back of our minds. Now, last leg of the race here, okay? So John Blistine, and again, just so you can see here, this is the boarding pass Erykah Badu bit that is referenced just right back here. And that is actually the cover for her window seat single. Okay, and so do you notice this 333 March 30th L right here, 333 66, all right, 266, just like when we were talking about the 266, and then you'll get fleas. Okay, so that absolutely links back around. So now making sure that we're all caught up here, remember that I said John Blistine was the one who wrote the, not only when she debuted Salvatore on Hugh Stevens' BBC show, but also the one to write about it when she debuted it at the Montreux Jazz Festival. Alright, so now I obviously think there's a lot of importance to that consistency that they maintain in the writer. So now take a look here and notice that John Blistine has the same coding as Satanic Symbolism, Loves Fire, and Family of the Sun. Now his English and simple values are absolutely critical because 99 is coded in there, as well as Hide the Secret, Hollywood, okay, just like we were talking about in this 9/11 Simpsons episode, right, the 49 and then all of it. Alright, you see, I hope you see the airtight connections, Destroyer, the Book of Life, Lightbringer, that is still a destroyer. Remember everything we have talked about. And we put his name here, John Blistine, amen, with the word. This is the same as put on the costume. This is the translation of the Luciano bit from Pagliacci, which means clown, right? Just like Eric Fogel. But that's how I started this video. Talking about the importance of Salvatore, and then she premieres it live, and all of the energy starts to get put back into it. But notice, knowledge, new aeon, 101 plus 1, again it's that 102. I have it listed as the 264th day of the year, which means that I should pull it up for you because 264, as you can see, has a simple value of 44. You have reference to kill, faith, magic with the K, as well as hidden, brain, and Godhead. Alright, so 264, a very important number, and notice as well, it is the same simple value as I got hot sauce in my bag, swag. Okay, and with that, 22 letters, reference to the Hebrew alphabet, 26 symbols, that would be the English alphabet. Look at this, the 4th and the 11th, that 411, that 44, that 114, however you want to see it. But you also see 333 written out, just like on the front. Notice it's the same Jewish value for Kudi Rock, who directed the video where Badu is killed. Pale Rider, All Is Lies, Death Snake, Hail, Blood, Fire. Alright, and you can see it has come up as a very important number. Remember, To Hell and Back is the shirt that Anthony Kiedis is wearing in the Under the Bridge video. Remember, UTB is 322. Alright, and that's why we're talking about the Bay Bridge Troll and Rigging International. One last one for you, that 264, you see it's the same English value as Jebediah. Alright, a huge centerpiece for the Pez theory. Alright, so now jump back over here then to the left side of your screen and notice the Hoover Dam as well as Unholy Coal. Remember the bit about ACN saying it's going to be some disgruntled kid going and setting the dams loose and destroying towns in the way. Now notice John Blistine, amen, has the same English and simple values as Zesty's pages and delivering ice cream. Remember that Zesty's pages is from Lisa the Iconoclast, where she's about to tell the truth and be assassinated for it, in delivering ice cream in the direct connection to the Bastille Day attacks. And everything I showed you in that video, focusing extensively, I think I actually did 2 on it. But check it out: sun worship, occultic master, an ideology of hate, alchemical process. It's like I've been telling you, all of these things are various pieces alchemically hidden, representations of other things. You see, he is still alive. Thy kingdom come, our fleabag gunmen, to pay the devil. Alright, now what I want to talk about in the last bit here, and I'm going to do a whole other video that talks extensively about Luciano Pavaro. And again, if anybody starts talking about this stuff you see on the right side of your screen, before I put that video out, know that they're directly stealing it from me. Because people love to take this information and try to put a spin on it and downplay this channel, because I am actually outside of the circuit of truth channels that are controlled. I could tell you a lot about that, but there's really no point to it, because a lot of you are just so absolute in your viewpoints that your ability to think critically is really not a fraction of what you think it is. I have no problem saying that. Now notice here, I do want you to see that the last song that Pavaro performed live, and I'm going to talk about this in the other video, and again, the importance of him, because he actually belonged to let's see here, the Cavaliere di Gran Grossi Omri, which is Order of Merit of the Italian Republic. Alright, and so for Luciano, look at all that stuff there, and all of the important things, and remember that his last performance was at the 20th Winter Olympics, the XX Winter Olympics. And I'll talk about all that, but remember the XX is the Aeon card. Okay? But so, I'm going to leave you this article for The Guardian so you can see that this virtual performance thing here was completely mimed, and they talk about how difficult it was to orchestrate, but that they had absolutely fooled everybody, and that it was a monumental achievement for them, and fooling all of those people in person. And that is the point here. It's just like with these staged events. These are practice for them, where they get all of the components sunk up just right. And you have to remember that when they're playing these recorded versions live and having, them be the backing tracks, those subliminal messages that are embedded in there are absolutely making their way into the live arena. That is the purpose of playing that in the background, is to continue the mind control, continue the brainwashing. There's a really corny movie called Josie and the Pussycats, but they absolutely tap into the mind control that music is very heavily connected to. And I want you to see here that even Beyonce brings up Luciano. And so look at all of this stuff. It is just stunning to me. But his final performance that he was lip syncing, he sings the song Nessun Dorma, which means none shall sleep. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but remember Roberto Glasper, Shooter's Hill, this is where the George Washington Masonic Museum is. And notice, don't fear the Reaper, the Master Mason, the King of Terror, and the Lord of the Earth. Now look at the English and simple values, are the same as Tom Donovan, the man who shot Liberty Valance, as well as Outside Lands. And I'll just take one brief moment to pull that up for you over on this side here, so that you can see how all of that connects here. And that August 7th is the date I was looking for a minute there. That's when she's going to be playing the Outside Lands, in case you're curious. But now notice down below here the English and simple values for Nessun Dorma, I love you Ra. Remember, it's the Jewish value for that's what she said as well. You see 93, that master thelemic number. Golden triangle as dead as a doornail. The hexagram name, remember, that is the true point of supposed evil. You see the gates of hell, kills the beast, and philosophy. And this even ties back into the ACN bit, talking about the disgruntled kid as well, because they're talking in that same scene very nonchalantly about their children, they're majoring in philosophy, Thanksgiving, all of these concepts. Now, last bit here, translated, none shall sleep. You see the blood of a goat and destined to fail. Now, blood of a goat is something that has come up a lot. And so it comes up for Lord Roberts. Remember, this was the very first president of the Pilgrim Society. And so just so you can see all of the other blood of a goats that come up for Jewish values, you see Mike Will made it. You see my name. You see Sic Sit Vobis, the last words in the Book of Thoth. You see Annuit Coptus, the Apocalypse, the Universe, perfect number, reference to 68, massively important, divine wisdom, and Hecate evocation. Now back over here, you also see these references to destined to fall. The English and simple values are the same as print the legend. Alright, the last part of the quote from Liberty Valance, same as honeymoon amen, formula of Inri, disgruntled kid. This is all I'm talking about with the ACN stuff. Quiet storm, and again, a quiet storm could be a metaphor for releasing dams, because it's not storming in the heavens. There's not thunder and lightning, but there is a flood. You also see reference to Bring Me Home Live. And again, the idea of live being in the corner of everything that we watch now. When you invert the word live, it is absolutely the word evil. So that's very, very interesting to me, okay? But do you see here, United States, ultraviolence, not only a Clockwork Orange / Stanley Kubrick reference, but also a Lana Del Rey reference, because that was one of her albums. You see Four Horsemen, Eyes of the Lord, Grand Unveiling, Beast from the Sea, referenced all the way back in the first part. You see the Simpsons, Beyond Duality, and the written out formula for the Tetragrammaton. So there's one bonus one down there for you, the idea of lip sync gate, but I'm not going to expand on that because I think that puts it about as succinctly as I'm able to do it. So I really hope you take these videos into consideration. All I can do is present the information and put it out there and make sure that it is available for consideration. So thank you so much to everybody for taking the time to watch these videos, to subscribe, to share, to engage, any and all of those things. It is greatly appreciated. And please, please be well.